Hi guys, welcome back. Right, so in today's video, or this video, we're gonna start tackling the interior. As you can see, we're on with getting this body smooth. There's going to be a huge amount of work to do on this because, yeah, every single panel's been changed. But we're just going to plug away at it and see what we can do. I mean, looking there, we need to sort that line out. But as you can see, the interior just doesn't fit anymore. I mean, these are an absolute pig to get to fit in anyway, especially when you've got the fenders moulded in. So yeah, it is what it is. Now we're going to have to shorten it at the front, and then we're going to have to take a significant amount out of the height of it as well. So what we need to do is, when we've got the chassis in, if you can see inside, that engine bit protrudes past the firewall that I've installed. Now, so to start with, I'm going to cut that front portion off, and then I'm going to cut the whole floor out. But what I did was put the chassis in place, screwed it in, and then I got my steel rule and just measured basically where the chassis goes to, and it works out that it's about 23 mil deep. So the interior tub is what, 28 mil deep. So I'm going to cut it down, cut the floor out probably to 22 mil, because I'm just going to glue some flat plastic to the floor to give it the base, and that'll be a mil thick. We're also going to have to remove all of the rear seat. It's going to be a two-seater, is this, with all of this all panelled in, and we'll do some tuck and roll work on it. But however, since the last video, I've had a delivery. Now, as you guys probably know, I don't really get involved in 3D printed stuff, purely because the majority of the stuff that's out there is engine detail based, wide body kits, and that kind of thing, making muscle cars into supercars and that kind of stuff. There's not a great deal out there for us that like the wilder side of things. But I came across these on Instagram, and they are just fabulous. These are custom seats, very space age, and they are by a guy in Canada called Steve Knox. He's on Instagram as Freddie Beach Customs. He did these seats and this steering column and steering wheel with gauge pods on the top, and they are just, when I saw these, I had to get some because they are just beyond cool. I mean, the steering wheel is so ridiculously delicate. Fortunately, he sent me a few of them. Now, this isn't Steve's fault. He gave me a very, very, very good price on the parts themselves. They're his own design and printed by himself. As I say, it's Freddie Beach _customs on Instagram. A guy called Steve Knox. There's a reason I really don't buy stuff from across the pond. I'm in the UK. He's in Canada, but there's a good reason. I mean, the postage was astronomical to get it out here, and then once I picked it up from the post office, I had a customs charge on them. So basically, these parts have cost me in the region of 60 quid. I mean, I have got a box full of them. but still, that's a lot of money for a few parts. But I'm not complaining about the parts that he charged me for, because he gave me a really good price. It's the postage and the customs that really got me. But these, it's going to tack them in with a bit of blue tack, are just going to be phenomenal in this model. And then we'll have the steering column, yeah, like that. And then we'll make some sort of dashboard. I'm going to make it out of the stock dash is going to be the basis of the dashboard, purely because it's got the right, I get it to fit the interior properly, it fits the angle of the windscreen. So we can use that as a base. And yeah, I am going to make this right-hand drive, because why not? I'm a Brit. So the first order of business here now is I'm going to cut just here to get that front portion off, and that should give me the correct length, and then we'll cut the floor out. So I'll go away and make those cuts, and I'll come back to you. All right, guys. Right, so I've gone ahead and made those cuts. I've cut some off the front to allow it to clear the firewall and the engine. What I have had to do is tack the dashboard in place, but I've also had to pull it back into the interior tub by about 5mm, because with the section of the body, it shoved everything forward. Now, I've cut part of the rear seat out, but what I'm going to have to do before I do anything else is I'm going to have to glue a new flooring, purely to give it a bit of structural integrity, because it's floppy as hell at the moment. So I'm going to glue this piece of plastic, 1mm plastic card to the bottom, and then I will also glue a bit to this front end when that's dried. Okay, so I'm going to go and glue them bits on now, and then come back to you and we'll see how it fits after that. Okay, right, so we've got the floor and that toe board sort of glued in place now. What we will have to do at some point is, when we've decided on what we're doing with the dash, we'll put a piece across here, because that'll stop light coming into the interior. As I say, the dashboard's just tacked in place, but then when all of this is dry, because I've just glued this square piece in, when all this is dry, I'll trim all of this and give it all a good sanding, but I'm going to leave it a good half an hour to set up properly before I do that, and then I can fit it to the body. And once we've done that, then we can decide where the seats are going to go, how far back we want them, and then where the steering column will be in relation to the seats, and that kind of thing. It's going to be getting things in place then, and then we can trim more of this out and trim this back seat part off, because at the moment that is very flimsy at the moment. We're going to have to fill in this bit here a little bit to get it all nice and flush along the top of the body. But once we've got the structure in place, then we can start sort of designing, if you will. All right, I'll leave that to dry now. Right, so as you can see, we have got this floor piece all trimmed and sanded up, and that front end bit sanded up. Also, like I said, it's going to be a two-seater. So we cut the top off the this seat piece cut off, and then we had to just do a little bit of more cutting to get things to fit properly. I'm probably going to have to remove this bit here to give space for the wheels. However, now we have, if we get this up into the body, what we have done, if you notice, I've just put this back piece in to blank off where the rear seats were. It is literally just where the base of the back seat was. And then we've panelled across the top where that big gap was. But what we've also done is we've put a few strength pieces just super glued in the back. Just gives it a bit of rigidity. And then we added a little bit of plastic into the top there. If you notice, it did dip down, and then that all now runs flush with the top. So if we get this into the body, I mean, it's an absolute pig to get in. And we need it to kind of sit flush. And I've got to figure out how I'm going to glue that in, because it's all very tight at the front. But what we might have to do, once we get it in place, is glue, just to hold it solid, is glue a bit of plastic to these fenders here. And that will give us a gluing point. We can glue at the back here. Now, the reason I didn't want to mess about with the back of the interior tub is because of the shape of the back. Now that would be a real pain to sort out, so we can adjust it at the front. Now, since getting the dashboard in place, if you notice inside the body, we've got a big gap there, which I don't want. Now, I'm not going to get into that at the moment because I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with the dashboard. I'll just pop this back out again. You can see just how tight it is and how the body flexes as you take it in and out. Now, the seats, I've just got a bit of blue tack on the bottom at the moment. The seats are going to need some sort of mounting point, but I want them fairly well back in the body, in the interior tub, should I say. Kind of like that. But what that's going to do is going to put the steering column, needs to be in a natural place. However, to get it to a proper driving position, it's going to be like that. But what I need to do is make some decisions on the dashboard. Now, we could use that as a base. We're going to have to probably build it up at the front to bring it to the level of the cowl. However, I don't know which kind of direction I want to go with the dashboard and the centre console. The question is, do I want to do something similar like I did on the Apache? Just build some square section, and then mould as some sort of sculptured dashboard, like I've done a couple of bits here, like the Buick. We've got a transmission tunnel with a floating centre console and a floating dashboard. The question is, do we want to do something similar like that, or do we want to do a fully moulded dashboard? Or we could do something with like a floating steering column like in this. I don't know yet, so that is why I'm not really going to do anything with that. There isn't a lot of space in there, but it's all the design element that I want to get in place before I start building things. Then I don't really have to do it twice. So, but also, while we're on the subject, I had a video call with some friends the other night, and we were discussing design ideas and how to bring this project forward. It was Mike Renault and John Bailey from JB Scale Creations, and we were talking about ribbing across the top. So I think these are just tacked on for now. But what I'm thinking is we have a character line that runs all the way along the roof, down the back, and then brings it into the front part of the body here, just to break it up a little bit. So I think that'll look pretty good. But anyway, we're going to leave this here for now until I pretty much decide on what I'm going to do with this interior, because the dashboard area is stopping me moving forward on the interior. So we'll come up with a bit of a plan for that, and then we'll come back to you hopefully in the not too distant future. All right, guys, thank you.